In this episode, I interview Justin Bright, who is the founder and owner of Humble Development. He just opened up a 15,000 square foot facility in Brooklyn in partnership with May Hoops. If you're a basketball trainer looking to scale your business and what it takes to become a full-time trainer, this is the episode for you. So what was the point in your life where you was like, yo, I can feed my family, I can do this full-time?
It wasn't really about the money.
Yeah.
It was really about
understand how to lead people, lead a team. What does it look like to lead a team?
I mean, first start with me.
Understand how he built his partnership. Where have you learned about partnership?
Ran a successful business, but I was borderline freestyling.
Right. What's up, y'all? We are back. I'm Nisha Horsey with another episode of Business of Basketball. Today we have Justin Bright, Mr. Humble himself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is dope.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is amazing.
Yes.
For real, this is fire.
So I got to give you your just due because, like I told you when I met you, I think in the summertime, I was like, I've been following you for a minute. And what I loved about your training style was that, like, it's fundamentals, but it's also a little bit of creativity, which is something that stood out to me in terms of, like, your expertise and knowledge for the game. You could tell you got a lot of knowledge. You could also tell that you're about community. And that's one of the things, not only the reason why I wanted to interview you, but one of the things that I feel like helps to build that level of success that you've been able to build over the past, was it 2014 you started Humble?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so you trained Kanye Anthony, you developed, and then helped him get to where he is now, which is rare in the basketball community. People train elite athletes, but nobody really focuses on development. And I think that's something that is a part of your philosophy. You work with Jordan Brand, Nike. You did some clinics for the late, great Kobe Bryant, Mamba League, LaMelo Ball. I've been doing my research, man. You've been doing a lot of stuff.
I see. Yeah, I've been busy last couple of years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
God put me in these opportunities, so yeah.
Yeah, so I want to first start with, because those are all the good things, the glory, but the story is the most important part to where you are now. So tell me about your upbringing in Brooklyn and how has that created your level of success today? Because part of your upbringing is the story of where you are. So tell me about that.
Yeah, growing up in Brooklyn definitely wasn't easy. Come from a single-parent household. My mom had to navigate to be the sole provider and also make sure her two sons were off the street. Thank God I was around the right people. The older guys from my neighborhood, we say the block, so the older guys from my block who, kept us from doing negative things, although they was doing negative things, but they were like, little homie, that's not for you. You know what I mean? So thank God for those guys. And then the support system from my family and my neighborhood. I'm on a block where there's like 5 buildings that are kind of connected, and everyone knows everyone within those 5 buildings, and we all watch each other grow up and stuff like that. So it was just like a everyday recess, everyday family vibes. I go to this building, go to this apartment, go to my friend's house in this building. So it was really a lot of community. I guess I come from that. That's probably why I display that in my training. And also, like, my upbringing, my babysitter who was like my aunt, right? Her kids were like my cousins. She had like 5 kids. So that's another large family that I was around that has that community base and support and structure of having each other back. So it was difficult because of the distractions, but basketball helped me stay away from that.
That's a fact. I also know there's a really dope part of your upbringing and your family line, the generation, your bloodline. Your dad was a superstar, right? And you got a chance to go to Jamaica to kind of learn a little bit more about just that side of the family. I think that's part of your bloodline to also make you who you are today, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience and how did it change your perspective on life from there?
I mean, that experience was crazy, honestly. Like, my whole life, I've been wondering, like, where he grew up, to be able to go to Jamaica and trace his footsteps, and just be where he was.
Yeah.
Like, I never had the opportunity, and I got the opportunity in my 30s, my late 30s, and it was just like a great experience for me mentally, spiritually. My father is Tennysaw, reggae legend from Jamaica. So going where he grew up, seeing the house that he grew up in, actually tracing the steps, standing in the same spot that he stood in is like it was surreal to me. I was just like in awe. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Because it's like some of your answers that you wondered or had is being answered.
Yeah.
So it was just I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
It was just a huge blessing for me. I'm thankful for my family in Jamaica to accept me and allow me to crash at their place, and the friends that I developed in Jamaica over the years to go spend time with them and their family and just commute. And they just showed me around Kingston, taking me to Trelawney, I'm in Ocho Rios. When I go to Jamaica, I'm like all over the place.
Yeah.
I got family everywhere,
Yep.
and literally like I got a bunch of places I could stay. So that's a big blessing. Based off my father's back, who he was and what he stood for as a man.
Yeah.
And people just showing me that same love.
And I bring that to the conversation because it's important to know where you are now, right? And to know that your family, your bloodline is very much representative of who you are. You feel what I'm saying? And then what you give to the game. So based on, you said you learned a lot of things. What is the thing that you learned that was like, I see why I am who I am, or I see how I act a certain way, or my mannerism, or how I connect with community? You feel what I'm saying? Are there any specific things that you learned that now translate to who you are today?
Yeah, my father was stubborn. I'm stubborn. He was hard-headed. I'm hard-headed. But he was also caring. He was generous to people. He didn't think he was bigger than everybody. People told me, like, my father would come home with a bunch of money. And he would come to the community and give people money. Like, just give them money, or take kids to the ice cream shop and buy everybody ice cream. Like, he was a very generous, giving person. So I can see that within myself. And then he was also greedy. He loved food. So I've told I'm greedy just like him. So yeah, just those things in terms of character.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely embedded it from him.
And all of those things translate into your core values for humble development, like
Absolutely.
literally. So I think it's important for audience to understand that, because everybody can't be a trainer. Everybody can't, you know what I mean? So that leads me to the next question of what makes somebody a great trainer?
I think your experience. I think your experience make you a great trainer. Like, for example, I love to tell people this story. Like Eric Spoelstra, he started as a film coordinator guy at Miami Heat. And Pat Riley took a chance on him. It was like, he earned it. He showed that he studied the game. He learned X's and O's. He studied players. So his experience gave him the opportunity, right? And a lot of guys lack certain experiences, right? You don't have to just be a basketball player to say I'm a trainer. Like, you have to experience different avenues of basketball, right? You got to coach, you got to train, you got to go through adversity, you got to go to coaches clinics, you got to go through camps, you got to study practice formats. So all these things, and also have awareness and understanding of how to deal with kids. Like every kid you can't just yell at, every kid you can't just be soft with. Some kids need you to bark on them to wake them up. So you're only as good as your experience. And I think that relates universal in everything we do in life. I think your experience is what's going to take you to the next level. You have to experience things so you can become who you are, which either it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Right? So, and nothing really bad happens to you. It's mostly good.
Yeah.
Because it's for your own good.
For sure.
Although it feels bad, but it's like molding you. God is using something to mold you into this being that he needs you to become.
Yeah.
Because you have a purpose. We all do.
Yeah, and I know earlier in your career you did some volunteering. Do you think that experience with learning kids, was that helpful for what you do now and your impact? Because there are people who are not educators who don't learn how to deal with kids, like you said. So where does one get that experience and learn? Is it volunteering? Is it getting certified? Like, what do trainers need now to be able to find that level of connection with kids?
Yeah, I think you got to put yourself in the atmosphere. I don't think you can. It's just going to fall in your lap. So for me personally, my journey was I started out volunteering. I started volunteering at a local recreation center in my neighborhood called St. John's Recreation Center. It's across the street from Albany Projects, which equals poverty in the area, right? Gang-related stuff. So I used to go there every Saturday, volunteer. I went from running the clinic to coaching the team. I went from coaching the team to refereeing the games. So, and at the same time, I was still trying to pursue an overseas career, but it made me even better as a player because I saw things from a different eye, right? So now I have 3 eyes. I got a coach's eye, trainer's eye, basketball player's eye, and then I had a referee eye. You know what I mean? So it was
Mhm.
like I started seeing the game slow down in a different aspect that I never got to experience before, but that was due to me volunteering, coaching, and stuff like that. Then later on in the years, I started coaching at the high school level. I was the JV coach of Boys and Girls High School. Then first I started at Brooklyn Collegiate. Then I went to Boys and Girls. And then I was helping out varsity a great deal. I was pretty much running all the practices. I was putting in all the plays, stuff like that. So my experience from coaching those local St. John's Red kids on the summertime, winning all the tournaments in Brooklyn, then going to Boys and Girls, and now I'm dealing with kids that are not even that good. So I'm really developing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Really, really teaching, really developing. And I'm coming in there every day with new things for them to do, challenging them mentally, physically. And then along that time, I became the head coach for Black Ops, which was Cayenne Anthony's program. So now we're talking about training my clients, coach of Black Ops, coaching JV, running varsity. I did that for 5 years straight.
Wow.
Right? So that's a lot of basketball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where my creativity comes, because now I'm coming in the gym every day. Like, what I'm going to do with this group of 15 kids from Boys and Girls? Okay, later on, I got Cayenne. What I'm going to do with him? I got little Jonathan that's 10 years old. I got to dump it down. I got Bryce Jones, who's home from overseas, home right now, who needs to work out. I got to work him out. All that was going on at the same time.
Right.
So my mind and my skill set was just expanding at a rapid rate because of my experience and what point in time God had me doing.
Yeah, and I always say your repetition creates your reputation. So that's basically what you did.
Yeah.
You put in a lot of reps to be able, in different environments of the game of basketball that then led you to that moment. I think the question I want to ask you about training in general is like, what is the game missing? Like, a part of what you do in your philosophy is development. You have developed the top guards, not only in the city, but the country. And I think development is the root of that. So do you think that's what's missing in training?
Everybody plays different. Everybody teaches different. Everybody coaches different. I just feel like the main core values need to be the same so it could be effective. So in training, it's like development, but what does that look like? Are you getting the kids in the weight room to make them bigger, stronger? Are you implementing, if it's not the weight room, are you implementing that after the sessions? Like, hey, every day you come in here, you got to knock out 100 push-ups. Then next week, we're going to go up to 125. Then, just challenge these kids physically. Now, are you teaching in terms of making reads? Are you doing drills that are Instagram worthy, or are you doing drills that are collegiate worthy?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to get you playing time worthy. That's going to get you paid for a check overseas worthy, right? And then are you doing high reps, or are you just passing over a drill that this kid did wrong 5 times? Are you paying attention to details?
Mm-hmm.
If your core values are the same, I think everybody will be able to excel and reach a level that they would desire to go.
And what do you think parents should look for when they are hiring trainers?
I think parents should definitely do research before investing in their child with a certain trainer. Research meaning like background checks. Who has he helped before? Is he known for this? Like, because a lot of people come home from overseas or finish playing college ball early and they become trainers, and which they're probably really good at, right? But sometimes I feel like they should do more investigation in terms of the person that they want to pay and put the hands of their child, because that's lost time if the person is bad.
Right.
And money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just do your due diligence and check on that and make sure everything is right before you invest.
And there's a new, like, I've been able to go overseas and train for the past 4 years, and I noticed the system is very different, right? So you have a structure within the European academies where a lot of the percentage of the focus is development, right? And not a lot of games. So for us, it's kind of different, right? Where we have kids going circuit tournaments, all types of things, and less time on development. Is that your system as well? Or if it's not, what do you suggest parents should do to help their kids get to the next level?
I feel like that statement is not truly correct.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like kids play AAU games on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 5 days to work out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that statement is correct. And then it's pretty much the same thing overseas, except you just got one game.
Yeah.
AAU got multiple games, but they're 8-minute games, and your son is probably playing 20 minutes tops, right?
Yeah.
Each game. If they're a star player, they play most. But I don't think it's wrong of what they're doing. I feel like the 5 days that you have, you should be developing,
Right.
right? So I think some areas in New York or in the country lack that component, or they don't have the resources to have that good trainer or developer to help their child. But we have the upper hand where we could do that for the 5 days and play more games than one game once a week,
Right.
which will give us more of an edge because we're gaining more experience by playing.
Yeah.
So I feel like the lost art is to play. A lot of kids don't play enough, right? So they training, but they're not hooping,
Right.
right? So within your 5 days, it should be a day that you're training, it should be a day that you're hooping. Day that you're training, day that you're hooping, rest, tournaments on the weekend. You do that, you good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on your rest day, it could be, I'm gonna make 100.
Right.
I'm gonna make 200, and I'm gonna chill, stay off my feet.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna do anything at all.
Right.
Right?
And I think too, like there's a lot of kids that aspire to play at the highest level. Statistic tells us that every kid is not going to play Division I. Outside of that, though, it is their routine and regimens and what they do. You talked about, they have 5 days, right, to be able to develop and get better. You have developed people to get to that level. What has been, not the secret sauce, but what has been the thing? Like they train, if a kid trains twice a week, are they playing D1? You know what I mean? Do they have to train every day? What does that system look like for them to get to that level?
I mean, training can lead to multiple things.
Yeah.
It's not just Division I, it's not just NBA, it's not just overseas. It's life lessons as well. It's like if you put your kid in karate or boxing, are they gonna be an MMA fighter?
Right.
I don't think so. It ain't for everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But the lessons that they learn from the training of boxing, the training of MMA or whatever it is, right? Those tools carry with them for the rest of their life. So they can bring it to a corporate world. They can bring it to a business mindset. They could do many things. They could become a coach, right? They could become relentless off of the tools that they gain from the experience. So if I got a kid in the gym from Brownsville Projects and I got a kid in the gym from, I don't know, Washington Heights or let's say Park Slope is a wealthy area in Brooklyn, and they in the gym together from 5th grade all the way to high school, those kids have become best friends. The kid from Brownsville may be a little more talented, or the kid from Park Slope could be talented, but they can benefit from the relationship that they develop from training in my gym.
Right.
So now let's say the kid from Park Slope is like, I don't really want to play ball like that no more. It's too much hard work. My dad gave me the company to run. The kid from Brownsville, after he plays overseas for 7 years, he can call him and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. I got you.
Right.
You my boy for years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The relationships, because that's what it's really about.
Right.
Like developing that relationship, networking, and gaining the tools and the things that come with it from the experience.
For sure. Yeah. What's up, y'all? So listen, I just want to say thank you for watching this episode. Look, if you want people like Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie, Andrea Carter, you name it, the big people in basketball that you want on this show, it helps to subscribe. So I'm going to ask you this personal question. It would do me a big favor. Would you subscribe? Subscribe to our channel, because when you subscribe, it makes it bigger, better. We have bigger guests, we have bigger production, and we can continue making a high quality show that we have always done for you. So make sure you subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode. As a trainer, you already know. As an educator, I teach, and that's the biggest thing is like, these kids are not able to connect in general because they all on their phones. They don't have that many opportunities to have touch points in general for connectivity. So I do believe that. I also think that there is a way for kids to determine their trajectory in the game. If they get in the gym, they going to get better regardless of the level that they play. You know what I'm saying? So I think in your experience, the people who have put that time in the gym, has it been a kid that you work with that has gotten to the highest level? They was with you grinding daily 4 or 5 times in the gym. You feel what I'm saying? Has there been a significant athlete that you think in your mind did commit those hours in that time for the player listening to be like, I do want to at least play in college regardless of the level? What is the commitment? What does it take to really do that? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that player is special. I think that player wants it. Like, some people want it more than others. I have a player that I train. He's probably the top player in the country. His name is Deron Rippey Jr. And when I started working with him, his passion, the way that he drives himself, right, is above that most people I've seen. right? Other than another player that I've trained named Bryce Jones, they have that same it factor where they're like, the way they approach the gym, the way they approach the game, the way they approach that mindset. Um, these guys have a story of being overlooked, right? But now they're like getting after it in the gym and they putting in the pain and they benefit from the fruits of their labor. So Rippy's a kid that I've done crazy sessions with him. I'm talking about making him do some crazy stuff and he keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And it's struggling. He's frustrated. He's talking in third person, but he keeps coming back. He's like, this is what it feels like. I need to be uncomfortable. I need to be like this, so when I get out there, it's easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he understood that at a young age, which is impressive. You know, shout out to his parents, hard hat parents from Fort Greene Projects who instilled that in him, right? The way they was raised, the way they grew up, they also gave him that gene similar to like what you brought up with me and my dad. It's in the bloodline.
Yep.
So he approaches it with that same mindset and he goes after it and sky's the limit for him. You know what I mean? He's going to go to the NBA. He's going to do really well. And he's a respectful, humble kid. So it's a big blessing to watch him grow these last couple of years.
That's what's up. Let's talk business. Let's talk the training business. So what was the point? You were volunteering. You did coaching, you mentioned, for AAU. But then training came into play. And there was a point in your life where you was like, yo, I can feed my family. I can do this full time. What made you believe that? Was it just faith or was it numbers where you were like, you don't have to disclose the number, but if I make it to a certain amount, I can really go full time with this? What was the point where you believed that you could do this full time?
Honestly, it wasn't really about the money.
Yeah.
It was really about helping people.
Yep.
Because basketball turned into a hustle. Everybody's making money off it. So, and plus I didn't have a 9-to-5, so it was a way for me to feed my family. And it just helped. It just worked out that way, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm living in my purpose, and that's what happens when you live in your purpose. You keep God first. You know, you don't got to chase the money. It's going to come. Opportunities will come your way once you're doing right by people and stuff like that. So in terms of that, it wasn't about the money, but as it was growing, I started looking at ways that I can grow and expand. So I started hiring people to pay them money out of the money that I was making.
Right.
Then my team grew. The more people I hired, the more money I was making, but I was able to give people jobs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And have people up under me that believed in me to lead them and guide them. So once it turned into that, it led to where I'm at now, which is the partnership with Made Hoops and owning the gym and being the head trainer for the facility. So that's the ultimate blessing because now I can hire more people to help and I can help more kids at a larger scale to become the next Deron Rippey or the Bryce Jones or the stories that I've been a part of. You know what I mean? So
tell me more about the partnership with Made Hoops. How did it happen? And how has it transformed and helped you scale within your current business right now?
The partnership with Made Hoops happened. We have a mutual business partner. My business partner put the three of us together and we decided to go in on the gym. The gym was just the foundation of both brands existing together. The owner of Made Hoops was just Chad Babel. That's my guy. I knew him for a long time. Good dude. All about business, very like a stickler when it comes to this stuff. And I've been learning a lot. So if you want to talk about how it helped, I've been learning a lot. Because for me, ran a successful business, but I was borderline freestyling.
Right.
I didn't really have that pure structure format. And with Chad, he's like, everything's on paper, you know, workers gotta be like this, and I'm learning and seeing how he operates and getting to experience something new, right? Because like I keep saying, you're only as good as your experience.
Yes.
So I'm blessed to be in a position to learn from him and my business partner to help project me to a higher level and do this at a larger scale. You know what I mean? So it's been a blessing, honestly. The partnership with Made Hoops, they handle a lot of logistics. I handle most of the stuff in the gym.
Nice.
We put our brains together and we able to project something that can really help the community in a positive way.
That's fire. What have you learned about partnership? Like what makes a good partner? I mean,
listen, before I learned about partnership, I know nobody could do anything by themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you got a vision to get that dream home, you can't do it by yourself. You need a fiance with an income or something. You know, you need a family that's going to push you. Your mom put you in law school. You can't do anything on your own. You know what I mean? And we all put it on earth to pair up with someone and to do partnership and grow and expand. So That's what I knew that before this partnership.
Yeah. And what do you hope that this partnership brings to the youth basketball ecosystem?
Man, I hope that this partnership brings, high-level basketball, positivity, love, teaching kids how to compete but still be humble. You know what I mean? Develop, respect the game, and all the other nonsense that come with the game. I hope it helps eliminate that.
Yeah.
Because basketball is a messy sport and it does have a lot of tweaks in it that needs to be fixed. So I hope that we can be the guys to set the standard and everybody can start following suit.
I love that. And I also love that I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, all of the coaches in your business, your team members, they all are Brooklyn natives?
Brooklyn natives, yeah.
Which is fire.
Yeah, they all from Brooklyn. They all play basketball at a high level. They all played college basketball. Some majority were pros. I'm talking about 12 years plus experience. So yeah.
And how did you get them all under one roof to see the vision? And what does it look like to lead a team? Because that's really important for owners to learn leadership.
I mean, first it start with me. I feel like the respect that they have for me. I feel like the way that they view me as a human being makes it easier for them to say, "Oh yeah, I'll do this with you. I played against you. I done watched you grow up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like never heard anything bad about you. I see that you love basketball. You help so many kids. I would love to be a part of this. And some people have a second life who's doing this with me now. I'm talking about guys 40 years old, retired years ago, but now this is like another life for them that they get to connect with these kids and help them in their journeys and give them the source that they didn't get at that age. You know what I'm saying? So that's big.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's what's up. I think for trainers, we love basketball so much but don't know business. For the trainer that's looking to either start or scale, what would you tell them is the thing that they need to learn about this training business, like their acumen to be able to maybe like not go through the road bumps you went through without having, like you said, the knowledge that you have now? Is there anything that you think could help them?
I mean, I don't want to give them that answer. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say, don't do this and don't go through the road bumps, because it's like, all right, let's say, what if God gave us all vision to see the future?
Right.
How would you become who you are?
Right.
The road bumps is what makes you.
For sure.
So I would say go through the road bumps, go through the fire so you can develop and become who you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's just that's the ultimate cheat code. If you know the answers, you won't approach it with that same fire or that same desire or that same hunger because you was doubted or somebody saying you're a terrible trainer and you want to prove. Like,
yeah.
You got to hear the comments. You got to go through the slander. You got to get, cursed out by some parents.
Right.
You got to adjust. You got to come back, get better. You got to throw a terrible group session. You got to run a terrible camp. You got to go through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I say just go through it. Put your faith in God. Study the business. Study the game. Learn as much as possible, and you'll be fine.
Last question before we get to the rapid fire. I know you got to be out. What does it take to build a facility? You learn kind of the ins and out of creating the facility that you now have. It's a 15,000 square foot gym in Brooklyn. So make sure you go visit that. What have you learned through this process?
Man, I just learned a lot. How to structure a business, how to have things organized, how to, get the best out of my trainers, how to operate and manage with my general managers in the gym, how to run events, how to organize, just a lot, honestly. And it's still going. Yeah. It's only been open for a month. So I can only imagine what I'm going to know and learn within a year span.
I love that. All right, so we have rapid fire questions I ask. It's no right or wrong answer, just like how you've been doing. Just answer it to the best of your ability.
All right, bro, let's go.
All right, so biggest mistake you think trainers make in this industry?
Assuming.
One skill you think every athlete needs?
Shooting.
Hard work or talent?
Hard work.
I love it. Finish this sentence. I am grateful for the game because...
I am grateful for the game because it gave me this life that I have now.
I love it. I love it. How can people follow you and how can they support your movement?
You can follow me on Instagram at HMBL Development on Instagram. We have a Facebook as well. And I have a personal page which shows my life in terms of outside of basketball, which is called Humble Stud, at Humble Stud, 2 Ds at the end. You could get to see an inside look of my life, my family, my kids, me being a family man, and you can also see the sports side. So those two components will give you the direct inside of my life and who I am as a person.
I love it. If you can give any trainer, and I want you to look in the camera when you say this, if they are looking to get into the training business, they're young, they just graduated, and they like, yo, I want to get in the game, what's some piece of advice that you would give them?
Man, put God first. Don't pay attention to the negatives. It's always going to be that. You're going to go through ups and downs. Just keep fighting, keep pushing, be relentless, learn the business, grow, network, increase your resources, and just give it all you got. And the sky's the limit. You could do anything. There's enough for everybody on this planet. Like, if there's a corner store on every corner in our neighborhoods, why can't we do it? You know what I mean? So just keep your head focused. Like I said, keep God first and just grind it out.
I love it. I love it. I just thought about one more. That's it.
Fun.
There was a moment, I met you at the Jordan Brand Classic, that event, and you told me that there was something that happened to your social media.
Mhm.
And the fact that you built it to now, I think, 11,000 followers.
Yeah.
What was it, a year or a few years that happened?
Yeah, so 7 years ago, I had 10K, and then my page got hacked, and then, it was a little bit disappointing for a while, but then I was like, well, I still people come in and bookings, people still follow me, so it was all good. And then years later, I'm back right now. I'm probably got 11.6K or something like that.
It's crazy. There's a lesson in that, though.
Yeah.
Because you also rebranded. You had a different logo before.
Right.
You rebranded. That's important for people to know about rebranding. Why did you rebrand? And what was the strategy, if there was strategy, behind building it back up again? Like, what did you do different this time than last time?
Well, rebranding was just becoming more modern, like just growing the logo, making it simple that you could put on merch and stuff like that. So that's what the rebranding was for. And then I really wasn't paying attention to it, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, I was devastated, a little disappointed in myself that it happened. But after a while, I was like, the followers don't matter. It's the work that I'm doing that really matters. So, and if people want to see what I'm doing, they want to follow, they can follow. If they don't, they don't.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, 90% of them I really don't know.
Right. That's
so
the fact.
It's just about, doing something positive. And if I'm going to have a lot of followers, I'd rather use my clout or my attention to put other people in position to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's what I created. The Humble Runs and all these other things that I'm using my platform to do that. Just community-based.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Nah, I appreciate you for having me.
Of course.
Fire.
Make sure y'all go follow Humble Stud on IG, Humble Development. Make sure you go and visit their facility, buy merch. I got some merch yesterday at the Humble Runs. Justin he's dope, man. He definitely a genuine guy. The name, his business definitely represents who he is as a man. So thank you for your time today. That's another episode of Business of Basketball. It's a wrap. I'll see you on the next one.